Okay, yep, there we go. 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 I think now we've got sound. I think now everything should be running. Let me just get on. Let me just get on and then we can get on with the show. Welcome everybody. Please, those are joining, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if my sound is fine. I think my sound is okay. Let me just check and make sure that I'm actually good. There we go, Prim. Thank you so much for the confirmation there. I'm going to start the show just now. Let's just let everybody get in. We're going to be speaking about Bafana Bafana and how they did last night. And then we'll start the show. Okay, it looks like we are good everywhere. Looks like we are good everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. Welcome, everybody, to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I am your host. This show happens every Monday to Friday, 12:30 in the afternoon, and then also Monday to Wednesday at 8 p.m. But in the case of last night, where we watched where we had a watch-along for Bafana Bafana, or tonight, where we have a culling knockout game, I do tend to go live and we watch these games together. So 7:30 tonight, we're going to be watching TS Galaxy versus Mamelodi Sundowns. Very interesting, seeing as Utembazwane, Nabo Mudiba, Nabo Mudau are still in Ivory Coast as far as I understand. So let's see how Sundowns plays it out. They do have the depth to carry it out. If you're listening to the show for the first time and you're wondering, how can you watch the previous episodes of the show? They are available on Facebook and on YouTube. If you've listened on YouTube and on Facebook and you've heard the voices and you've thought to yourself, how do I add my voice to the show? Just know that you have to be following me on TikTok. Join me when I'm live on TikTok. There'll come a time where I'll tell you that I'm opening up the lines. Then a button at the bottom of the screen will appear that says multi-guest. Click on that button, request. I will let you in, and then we can have conversations about the show, about whatever we're speaking about that day. When are they playing? 7:30 tonight. 7:30 tonight. Also interesting, many socials of Sundowns are quiet about the game. Won't be surprised if the game is lost. But I saw them post a game day thing. But anyway, we'll speak about that a bit later. If you are on YouTube, to comment, you have to be following me. I'm subscribed, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, let's talk about this thing. And you know, when we have big games, we start off by hearing from the coaches. This just dropped now, courtesy of Lawrence Koller. Please follow him on YouTube. So let's hear what old man Hugo Bruce had to say.
I think we win the game. When we're at the second half, that big chance, if it's at that moment 2-0, I think we win the game. But the pressure was also at the end of the game was enormous. So I think the result is correct. But I'm again very happy with what I saw from my team, and the mentality was good, football was good. So that means that we have quality, and this is something maybe that my players have to believe in more. Even when they play against the little teams like last Friday as Swantini.
Nous allons commencer la série des questions. La première question, Yvan ici, Chabel.
This wasn't in French, so I'm just going to skip it.
Dans un très grand rôle aujourd'hui.
There was a question. The French ones, were not all Mutiba.
Premièrement, deuxièmement, attaque comme le nôtre aujourd'hui, c'est pas évident. Et c'était pas seulement notre attaque, mais aussi notre entre-jeu. Ça veut dire que pour la Côte d'Ivoire, c'était pas simple de contrer. Ils jouaient très haut aussi. C'est ce que j'avais demandé. de ne pas reculer parce qu'alors là, vous recevez. C'est pas évident, hein, encore une fois, quand tu joues contre une bonne attaque comme le nôtre aujourd'hui.
Especially when he's in his element, like we saw today. Especially when he's in his element, like we saw today. And for you was in this team, and I see that today you kept him longer. What can you say about Justin Bazwane, especially when he's in his element, like we saw today? And for you, was this the perfect way to prepare, just to have that final sign-off to the World Cup qualifiers next month?
First of all, we know that Temba is a very good player. So even when in the beginning, when I was in South Africa, he wasn't with the selection. But I explained that it was his age at that moment, also now. But I mean that we were building a new team at that moment, and for me it was important to know what young players we had. But I have to confirm that once Temba was there, that the way of playing changed also. And when we can reach Temba, this is for us very important. So and you see the difference between last Friday and today. So this is somebody who see where he has to put the ball, where he has to ask the ball. So I don't have to tell him anything. The only thing I'm asking him for every game is try to have as much as possible the ball, because this is important for us. So and what the game itself, I felt already Sunday on the training and the attitude of the players that they wanted to give a reaction today, and the reaction was there. Certainly. So we didn't talk so much about the game of Friday. We focused everything on this game, and I'm very happy that the boys listened to what we said and what we asked, and that they did it in the pitch.
Une question derrière. La jeune dame là, passez le micro à la jeune dame. Et excusez-moi.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it there. Let me just get everything back. But yeah, so that was what Coach Hugo Bruce had to say about the performance. Look, I think there's a couple of realities that us as South Africans we have to come to grips with when it comes to this Bafana Bafana team. I think number one, we're not world beaters. We're not the best team in Africa. We're not amazing. So a lot of what we need to do is going to be fighting against teams that are better than us. Number two, this team is not a flashy team. It's not a possession team. It's not a 1-2 team. It's not a build-up team. It's not a Shushan and piano team. It's a hard-working team. So a lot of what we're going to watch, and what we have watched, to be fair, of Bafana Bafana has been a team that may not have the star power, may not have the best, it may not look great on the eye. But when it comes to getting these results, they know how to grind them out. So us as South Africans, we're going to have to get used to those. We're going to have to get used to that type of football. Because if we're being honest, at the end of the day, our beautiful football, our shushan and piano, our dribbling, all of that stuff hasn't gotten us far in the last few years. So now we need to go out there and understand that this is how we're going to play. And Hugo Bruce is somebody who's won this tournament before, so he has some of that experience in this. So up to this point, they've done okay, they've done well. Coming to the match itself, like I said, we're a moments team now. We're a moments team. We're going to hang in there, and then when the moments come, you need to take advantage of them. Press Ivory Coast high, win the ball back, score. You know, we had a couple of opportunities where we caught them on transition. That is what we're going to have to get used to, and that is what we're going to play. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow. I see Theo. I see Theo wants it by force. I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but he has been, of late, our best coach that we've had at the national team. And this is what we need to play. This is what is played in Africa. Not many teams come out and dominate games and do all of that stuff. I think Ivory Coast took us lightly in the first half. I think they were very lackadaisical in the way that they played the game, especially in the first half. And I think they nyatzed us a little bit, especially in the way they were attacking. They were doing the thing where they're leaving 3 or 2 defenders. They weren't necessarily tracking us. Zaha was nowhere to be seen, but I did well in that regard. Zaha was nowhere to be seen. A lot of the star players were nowhere to be seen. They tried to play a football that wasn't necessarily good for them. Like I said during the thing, if they had crossed more, I think Halak gets a few goals there. But they were able to save the shame, I guess, later on. They are at home, they are hosting. With Bafana Bafana, after Eswatini, we knew what we needed to do. We knew that we needed to come out and show something, show some fight, And again, in those moments where we went out and did stuff, we scored the goals. We got we scored the goal. We got a draw, a respectable result over there at Ivory Coast. I would love to see a little bit more. There's some technical questions that I have of Hugo Bruce that we touched on last night, especially with regards to Abo Mutiba. But all in all, it's a good result. It's an okay result, and I think a win would have been incredible for us to go forward into the World Cup qualifiers next month, and also to the AFCON next year. It would have been great to see that, but I mean, it's better than having lost. So let's see what they're going to do. Now I'm going to open the lines. Let me open the lines. Then you'll be able to request and add your voice to the show. At the bottom of your screen on TikTok, if you're following me and you're on live right now, bottom of the screen, there's a multi-guest button that's going to appear. Click on the multi-guest button and you'll be able to jump in and add your voice to the show live right now. Let's see. Bruce should have stopped Foster earlier. But truth be told, pound for pound against Ivory Coast, we were nothing and we were close to the win. Mutiba held up play very well. The press by Mukwena looks familiar, says Usbo. Guys, it's open. You can request. You can request and jump in. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, Guti. When you look at it, look, I question the Mutiba thing because if you watch how Mutiba scores goals in France, he's a very off-the-shoulder player who runs in behind. I think Uzwane can give him the type of balls that he likes to get. So in as much as he was good with his back to the defense, I think you can get a lot more out of him and he can be a little bit more active in the game. If you just make little tweaks, man. The reason why we want Foster to come in is because, or what people are saying about Foster, is because Foster is a little bit more mobile. He plays a little bit, he can do that 1-2 thing that they want, and he scores like that. So let's see if Mutiba gets a chance to play to his strength, how it turns out. Dela, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my brother?
Wala uthing bingelele wena uthing bingelele nama overthinkers siya overthinka la.
Tell me, we won in the game. What are your general thoughts about this game?
First and foremost, I'd like to take time nje azi ngibonga at uThemba Zwane. Guys, under uThemba Zwane is the midfield maestro, man. So coming into this game, I feel like yes, we did well away, but I was gonna say Bafana Bafana did well only if when Ivory Coast scored first and then we equalized. But the problem is that we scored first away in a hostile environment against a team that almost has 90% of players from Europe. So coming to this match, I feel like Ama missed chances cost us the game. I don't like it draw mina when we were in charge, because we were in charge of that game. I feel we were in charge in terms of passing, in terms of ball retention, everything. We were in charge of that game. So I felt like that game by halftime it should have been 3-0. Only if Abu Mutiba will switch on. Sometimes as a striker, yes, we can say Mutiba is a number 9. He was doing a great job by holding up play and linking up Nabutemba Zwane. But if Mutiba is not going to put away my chances and score, we are going to have a problem. But all in all, the way we were playing nakhona bedlala kahle, a partnership ka Siphephelo Sithole no Mukwena, I feel like is the one to go for AFCON and also my qualifiers. But my only concern is about left back position. I feel like left back position is there for the taking. We need someone. We need someone like Uhlanti or Mayela. Guys, Uhlanti is doing well whenever he's playing for Bafana Bafana. We saw him in the past, the time we were playing against Egypt. At home. I remember AFCON we played against Egypt at home, and Uhlanti managed to pocket to Mohamed Salah the whole match as he left back. So that's why I'm saying Umudiba, that goal, that cross came Lapanaga left. Umudiba was nowhere to be seen. Umudiba was supposed to close down that guy who was making a cross there to find Sebastian Haller. That's why I feel like he left back position is not for Abomutiba. We should get someone. Yes, Umayela is okay. No, Uslanti is not that old, my man. Uslanti was a regular under Upros until he started flopping Kaizer Chiefs. So I feel like left back position, if you can balance the left back position, then we are gonna have Bafana Bafana and Umutau was doing very well. I don't understand why Hugo Bros was overlooking Umutau and picking Unyikomo over Mutau. So now this should be a time for Hugo Bros to drop Umobi exactly and to bring on Ulal Foster to cover for Umutau whenever Umutau maybe is not available. Because the way Umutau played them, he was showing us this is how a right back should play. This is what a right back means. So lente ends we all know. But all in all, Bafana did well. But I don't like how you were posted that match Mutiba, because I feel like Mutiba was only there just because of his speaking, maybe it's French or what. But Ulal Foster was gonna bury those chances. I know. Ulal Foster was gonna bury those chances, and people would be like, "Hi, Mutiba, we are Zala." But Mutiba should be third choice for Bafana, second behind Ulipasa and Ulal Foster. So all in all, Bafana, I was disappointed with his chances.
Let me bring in Lord Mula. Lord Mula, how are you doing, my brother?
Gee, how's it?
Long time.
Long time. Hey, it's work, man. You know when work holds you with the balls, there's nothing you can do.
Tell me, how did you see this game? What are your general thoughts about this game that Bafana played versus Ivory Coast yesterday?
My general thoughts. I was so impressed with how they played. Hey, the ball retention, the passing. Although the passing was a little bit not okay because they would not pass like Bebanga pass fully.
Yeah.
Bebayenza ama-hospital pass most
Yeah.
of the time. You know, but all in all, I was happy. And when it comes to striker, I do not blame the striker or anyone else. In actual fact, they played very well. The problem is it's the same thing that we see Guma leagues with. We lack ama runs from behind. We lack those. And I think if maybe Begafage Ulail Foster, maybe we could have done something better with regards to going forward. Other than that, I was so impressed. It was the first time I was impressed with Bafana Bafana ever since I watched South Africa playing football.
Ever since?
I swear, I was so happy. Listen, Ivory Coast has about 70 to 80%. Who they played against Frank Casey. He plays for Barcelona. He's top notch. You know, he's a top player.
Al Ali now, Maraya. Yeah, he's played for, yeah.
Yeah, he played for. I meant to say he played for Barcelona. Look at the players that were there. They were most of the players that were at Ivory Coast are top-notch players. So for us to contain the game and to cause problem for Ivory Coast, It was perfect. I've never seen South Africa playing like that. It's my opinion.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
Okay. High praise, high praise. Let me go to Theo. Theo, how are you, my brother?
I'm good. How are you, Mr. Utsi?
You're right. Tell me, how did you see the game? Ngukuzwile last time, mara ngikunikeza isikhathi manje. Uyibone njani le game?
I'm so glad that what I said yesterday, just that I couldn't come back at the end of the show. There was a load shading. I couldn't even finish the rest of the match. But I told you the score was going to be 1-1 at the end.
Mara nami ngithe 1-1. Isivuka
Ngabe
ngenzi njalo.
bayasibhadala ke lapha ePetruy ngabe bayasibhadala. Okay, let me greet the panel, greet everyone in the comment section, guys. Amen, come on, Mandlela Petru. Uhlatu na territory, guys. Umutiba, the one of Sundowns is 28. Guys, let's not argue that. Yes, smart chiefs is so okay, but you know, we need to get rid of these all Matalas. Just because he had 2-3 good games, we cannot. Because guys, after AFCON, there's World Cup qualifiers, so we cannot be carrying those old people all the time. Yeah, but get back to the game. Man, we even yesterday we talked about the first half. The first half was patches, you know. Ivory Coast was nowhere to be seen. And another thing, when we say we want to shine, guys, it's not like we're saying we want these guys to play, you know, like superstars. We want these guys to, no, we don't want the Ingonjelento take attack. We just want them to show good they understand each other, that there's cohesion with one another. Not good in Jabona. You watch how Sundowns play. It's not gonna be exactly like Sundowns the way Abadalanga Kona manage. But you see how Uzwane no Mukwena were able to find each other. But Tolelo Munto Milela Pagele le striker le to Mutiba Angas Umele in Lapa. Because guys, come on, Mutiba is good. I love what Undlela said. If you have a guy like Uhland who's gonna bring in crosses, he's gonna be number one. But yesterday we didn't have that kind of a player, and he should not even came back the second half. You know, we needed a mobile striker, a player that will come and play with Nabo Zwane, you know, and all of that. Yabo. So for me, I think it was a very dangerous thing that we did. Had we brought in a guy like Frosla, second half would have buried the game. But nonetheless, we had a very, very good game. Ndlela uzwane phela ikhoye sound is Bafana Bafana. You cannot compare ikho ne tire lakdala. Uhlanti tire lakdala. Uzwane ikho. Without Zwane yesterday, we were not going to do what we did. So Zwane no mangatuna, fana no Messi guys, go Argentina. We need an old, experienced, quality player. But not to, but what I'm saying is the game was good, but we could have finished the game. We could have won the game first half. You know, I mean, those guys were not there, guys. That's why I hambile Crystal Palace. Segai flop match. But we could have buried them before they brought those young players second half, and guys, I don't know, those young players, they terrorize us. It's like we were now Eswatini, but they were Bafana second half, because first half you swear it's like we were Tinabesi South Africa, but never Eswatini, because they were not being that dangerous. But second half they brought in the young players, they moved in the right pockets, brought in right crosses. You know, Uhala guys, Uhala and Jongo Busho, he just taps in Amaheda. If we close that, you know, even now I have a question. Why is Kolu still there?
I'll hear from the others. Let me begin to Kolani. Yeah, let me begin Kolani. Kolani, welcome to the show. How are you, my brother? I'm okay. Tell me, how did you see this game? General thoughts about this game?
General thought. I'll say we played in patches, but I'll say coming from Ikemi Eswatini, we had improvements. Ningabi, but in terms of starting 11, still question we selection kaTulu. Asinik lutho phethu. Umuthiba angaze ngambona idlala ku-team yakhe, so I can't say ukuthi was he good or not. But as the way adlala ngayo, I think besidinga umuntu onjengoLepasa, someone who's gonna run off the shoulders ama-defender, yabo. Someone who's gonna peel off ama-defenders, hayi umuntu oyi-target, because kade we were sort of playing like more of transition football. Yabo. So ikanjalo nje bese.
Okay, okay.
And yeah, but I so wish to know ukuthi yini le ubani lo uMobi anayo with ucoach yethu vese. He's only had to force him to play right back. Ingekho inkinga on the right back. I was going to understand if ukuba bemfaka left because no what's this? Ivory Coast they wasn't troubling us on our right side. So besingekho isidingo sokuthi afake ama right back awu-2 on the same side yabo. If it was going to be left way to assist uModiba, banks will understand that. But he had to put Umobi ungane yakhe and then take uPuliso to right wing, of which he was lost message right wing. We could see it wasn't his natural habitat. Yeah.
Okay.
But so far, one of my improvements, a lot of positive from EPMS.
Let me go to Udlala. Lela, this team is starting to take a lot of Sundowns playing out from the back. Mudau Merodiga being very active there on the wing. Most of the attacks and our transitions came from him. Uzwane. Is Hugo Bruce now starting to change? Will maybe, is there hope Guti will see Shushan in piano soon?
You know, I'm not I'm not a fan of Hugo Bros, but I do believe in the quality of players that we have about Tembazwane. Because having Tembazwane there, obvious Tembazwane can dictate to play there. Having Umukwena midfield is okay. Umvala, but guys, Umvala almost cost us a goal. Is all. Sizwe post there was Umvala's mistake. Ukul is okay there, Buffett. Ukul is okay. So abantu if they should watch as go since card ngiyathanda ukuthi umuntu abukele image previous matches eBafana Bafana against Morocco and see how we played against Morocco and compare how we played against Ivory Coast. We are able to dominate the team lawana so-called players from Europe by just playing the ball pants the way we were playing. So yes, I would say ukuthi Ipolare Sundowns, it's what suits Bafana Bafana now. The way it's Bafana Bafana man, is the way Sundowns plays. Cause having our Tembazwane day, Tembazwane is gonna obviously play the Bafana Bafana way I mean the Sundowns way of trying to link up the strikers, looking for armor spaces, dictating the play. So and Umutiba there overlapping. That's how Sundowns play. And now I can see what Hugo Brot is cutting and pasting from Ugulan Mukwena. Let's say style of play Hugo Bros. This is not a style of play. Say coach from Europe. That is Sundowns style of play, good national team. And the way that's why I feel like we still have Upesita who's gonna come in there. So now Ivory Coast was lucky. Ivory Coast was the luckiest team yesterday because Bebengeko and Tina, we missed Usaleng, we missed Lipasa, we missed Upesita. Imagine if we had Upesita or Lapaya. No Lipasa. It was gonna be 3-0 straight. Ibizo shall Ivory Coast. So Ivory Coast were lucky there. They were very, very lucky. So the way we played, as I so wish, my only wish is which one day Utembazwane, if you will copy Amfrika as a fit, he should go. You know, the way Utembazwane Atlanga corner, the only players that are close to Utembazwane in the league that we have now, it's Umemela, Uluvuyo Memela, which is overlooked by Hugo Bros again. Utem Kosiloch, I don't know what's happening to him. Ukigentoli is always injured. That boy from Imazulu, Rowan Human, is not getting into form. Wrong. So if good season, Pirates na ingazama mhlawumbe ukudlalisa Abo Lodge and uDole na abeso forming because of we are gonna need those star players nabo AFCON. We cannot say a Sabafone because of we still lack somewhere somehow there. If skip Utembazwane, then sizosala nobani. Yes, however, yes, we still playing start of places Sundowns. So imagine if we have Ukigentoli feet there or Abotem Kosiloch. So if coach, if I'm gonna have Ukigentoli feet and Tem Kosiloch, I will sacrifice some of those players there. I will sacrifice Abum Tanzania. I wouldn't even choose Tanzania to be there. Yes, in the cheese, but I wouldn't even choose Abum Tanzania to be there. I would look such ama-players afana nabo King Ntolo, because playing against lama team lawo Ivory Coast, it shows ukuthi we have a local talent and they have European talent or experience, because none of those players who start in lineup, there's not even a player that plays for Essex Mimosas lapaya. Ama-players adlala Europe. So we did well in terms of trying to play ngesitayela sethu, isitayela saka Royal Mokoena. So Hugo Bros angasho angathanda angayishintsha thini, but that was the Sundown style of play, and that should continue in every match for us to win our matches.
Let me bring in Lord Mula. Lord Mula, should we carry on copying the Sundowns template? Because now even he's saying that when I arrived, I wanted to choose youngsters, but now I've realized that maybe I need to bring in Abo Tembazwane, I need to bring Abo Williams, Abo Mvala, Abo Mukwena, and maybe I should allow them to play what they play at their club.
Let's be honest, guys, and not beat around the bush. Sundowns is doing wonders. So it's like, for example, Spain used to have 8 players on the field as a Barcelona, and they would play Barcelona football. So Sundowns football for now, it's working for South Africa. The combination between Mukwena, Mshishi, and Mudau, like it was evident that these players, they understand each other. Hence their passes were always on point. We only lacked there and there when it comes to passing and interceptions and whatever the case may be. But I personally, I think for now Sundowns style is working for us. So what I think the coach now needs to do is we need to have pacey forwards. I don't know. I feel Uguti yesterday, if Dupreez was there, he would have caused a whole lot of problems for Ivory Coast, because Dupreez is the only player for now that is able to run Guma spaces and behind defense. Problem Uguti is not perfect in the finishing, but it's something that can be worked on. But the Sundown style, it's working for us. So why?
And then while he's looking at this Sundown style, do you think that now he must complete it? So do you think that maybe we should see Utrulu getting left out, bring in Ukutsia, so that you have that sort of center-back CDM type thing that Kutsia does well? And while maybe you don't have Allender, maybe you can bring in Ndondo to play an Allender role type thing. Do you think that, man, at this point you should just let it go and play the way Sundowns plays?
100%. 100%. Pulu should be on the bench. We should not write him off. He's Pulu experience, and he knows how to handle big pressure. He should always be there as a substitute for either or defenders, Vala or Kutse. Because if you look at the way they were playing yesterday, they were playing Sundowns style. Sundowns, they start from the and they used to it. I even saw Ronwen Williams. He was not even shaky or, there was a time where he played Ohala. I'm not sure if it was Hala or between Zaha. They put pressure on him. Under pressure. He looked and chose the perfect pass, of which that's what he did. Then we went forward. So Sundowns, I think we should be middle. At the back, it should be Sundowns. At least 3 in the middle or 2 in the middle, Sundowns, just for pass combinations. And then between left or right, we have a pacey, let's say, go right to Tau, go left to Utupri, just for his pace. And, to give the defense that, we have a pacey player and we think he might even be a threat to us. And then from there he can see who he puts in. But at the end of the day, I say big ups to what they were playing yesterday. It's yeah.
I see you sneaking into prayer there, but it's fine. I see you. Let me bring it to Theo. Theo, should we just copy paste, man? Copy paste. Let's keep it maybe, if we Allender bega corner sim change nationality, should we just play Sundowns, man, once?
yazi akuhlekiswa ile comment yaDupreez. Hey yazi yakhala reg. Sadly he picked up at the wrong time, guys. Yabona ngabe he did his job ngale thuba nikwa lona ngabe ukhona la, and it would have been very very much useful. But don't forget nabo Salengi, you
I
know,
was
hey,
gonna
there are many
say,
players that are gonna compete with him. So yeah, but back to what you just asked, you know, guys, I said this. It's not like, you know, my supporters the Chiefs, the Pirates, Sundowns, abanye amazulu, marangazi basasupporta ngimazulu. But ngiyakubekisela nje, you know, these supporters, we understand South African football. Ukuthi we do have talent, we do have good players, but the big problem is that they mature at a later stage. Most of our players, they start maturing 27, 28 up there. That's when now, you know, they can compete in serious stages. And honestly, it's sad that, you know, we watch Sundowns, some of their players, guys, we have to realize, you know, Zwane 3 seasons back, he would have been a firehouse for Bafana Bafana. But you look at him now, even yesterday, you could see this string trekking back up and down is not working for him. He gets the ball, he passes Mutiba, Mutiba holds the ball, holds it. Zwane has to run from that position to come in. You can't. So for me, I think, you know, honestly, bring in those, you know, I'm not saying start them. Yeah, but some of those Sundowns players, bring them as, you know, supporting structure. You know, for an example, Ukulu, guys, you look at that goal yesterday. It's like Ukulu did exactly what Aaron Mokwena did when we were playing against Mexico. You know, he's there marshalling the defense. Yeah, now himself doesn't even know where he's supposed to be. A free header. A free header. If you remember what he did, he was pushing them. Got to Milan, he's pushing them, Aaron Mukwen. So yesterday you watch him, it's like it was like he was rushing after the ball. Why rush after the ball? You have been given a tall man there as a target man. Go for him. That guy there, the free header. And those are things that you don't need to just, it's textbook football, guys. So for me, those who say about Kulu still needs to start, hey, I don't understand for what reason. But also you come to Mudau, guys. Mudau, like there's a difference, like it's like he's learning to understand what he's not supposed to always being up and down. I was watching him yesterday. There was a time when he was just staying at the back, and I was like, why is he not up there? But Tuchol Zaha was standing there waiting for him to go up. You understand? So you need those players who have football intelligence, and those things they come because we have competed in bigger stages. You know, imagine playing with Pesitao as Mudau. Pesitao will do those traps. He will make you go down, and then when you go down, he rushes up. You understand? So those things are things that I think has molded certain players.
Should they copy the Sundowns? Because Sundowns plays AB, Ronan Williams, Mbala at the back so that Umudau has some freedom. I saw Wizami the second half when he brought in Umobi there. Should they just man once then man? Man.
But yazi izohlangana ukuthi the day lapho yodliwa khona, we're gonna blame Sundowns, we're gonna blame him. So for me, I think integrated, but not so good. It's too late because some of the things that he was supposed to do them a year ago. You understand? Like guys, we said this a long time ago. He should have just thrown Sundowns in the one game. Just throw Sundowns, Yonke. And we just two players are not there. Just throw them all. What was gonna happen? Now you're doing it. We're seeing results, and then now you bring in Kaizer. Hey, and then they score. We lose that game. We're gonna hammer him. Why are you playing Sundowns? But what I think is integrate them there and there. But especially at the back, I agree with what Ulot Mula said. At the back, put them all. Put them all at the back. Then just twitch a little bit. Put in Saling. Put in for me, I wouldn't put Utupriz. I would put Saling on the left and I'll put Pesita on the right. Then have Leil Glake there up front. But the problem is after Zwane say cut, Flosla, I mean. But my problem is when Zwane now is tired, who are you gonna bring in to become the supplementary or the option that is gonna push those front players forward and then release those passes. If we can fix in the Bagazwane, then I think we'll be fixed. Put Sundowns as it is, we will see results.
That's going to be the next round question. And let me just get Kolani in for his input. Kolani, should we just play Sundowns football once, man? I saw them trying to play out from the back yesterday, but you know, Umbala is not the guy who plays out usually. It's usually Ronan Williams, you know, it's usually AB. And we're putting him in a tough space. Should we just get one, City, no, Ronwen come in, You know, sibafake bonke nje sidlale Sundowns.
But we've been asking to enze njalo first. Yeah, we've been. And I'm glad it was a Chiefs fan or a Leon, but it shows abanye bethi we just watch football ngendlela right first. Sikhumula amakepisi amateam esiwasupportayo and then we watch ama-players enze into right first. All we need is good selection first. The fact ukuthi abantu abaningi bathi they can also coach Sundowns. It shows ukuthi Sundowns has quality players. Yakuthola. The fact ukuthi abantu abafuna ukuvuma ukuthi uRulani is a good coach. Abantu bakutshela ukuthi everyone can coach Sundowns. It shows ukuthi Sundowns has the right players first. Even last season Sundowns didn't lose the game with Champions League. Well, he lose it ngelekhuzana what was this away goal advantage, yes. So first, for me, if the Konute Awizolo in a space of Manyambel, bese ufaka in a space of Utlongwane, we're gonna terrorize them first. We're gonna terrorize them.
Okay.
Yeah, I also agree with you as ukuthi uMvala we don't asikwazi ukuphuma ngaye kahle emuva. So we're gonna need someone who's gonna be comfortable on the ball. Siphume kahle, someone like uGutse, uRiver,
Okay. Yeah, look, guys. If I can just jump in on that one. Look, I think he's slowly coming. I think he's thinking about it. I think that maybe it's a little bit of ego that's stopping him from doing it. But if you want to play out from the back, Umvala is not the best at it, but he's used to it. Utkulu's not the best at it. So why leave Ronwen at home when we see him, not Ronwen, Kutsi at home, when we see Kutsi do it every season, every day, Magdali Sundowns, you know, to the point where Umudiba, who we complain about on the left-hand side, the reason why he wasn't effective is that at Sundowns, he's used to tucking in. He's more of another midfielder than he is a left back, right? So why not just go all the way, man? You already have the spine. Williams, Mvala, Mukwena, Zwane. You have Mudau on the side. You have Mudiba on this side. Just go all the way. And you can supplement those type of things. Because can you imagine Ndondo playing in a team where Ukutsia is center back? That would be incredible for progressing the ball up. For example, it would give Zwane a little bit less work to do. Can you imagine having that progression, but then at the front you've got Usaleng on the one side, you've got Pesitao on the other side, you've got Lau Foster through the middle. I think that is a very scary team, and it's sad that, man, obviously because of the friendlies and how they put, we see them carry half. But I think this, I hear you guys saying that Bafana Bafana doesn't have quality in South Africa. I think this team could be very, very scary if we were to take that chance. Let me go to Dlela. Dlela, I want to look to the future. You know, we've heard Themba Zwane mentioned a lot, and we've listened to Rulani speak about how Themba Zwane makes Sundowns tick. Themba Zwane is the player that the first player that he puts on a team sheet is him. Now we're hearing Bruce speaking about him very glowingly. But he's old. The future of Bafana Bafana, what does it look like? How do we replace a Themba Zwane or start bringing in people that could take over the Themba Zwane role? Do we have somebody who can put in that? We look at the left back. Right now we spoke about how Umudiba maybe is not the guy. We've spoken about how Marco might be a little bit too small, let's say. But now our options go to Abotlanti. How do we make sure that this Bafana Bafana team progresses and we have something for the future? Or is it a case that we're going to be sitting now 32, 33? Should we qualify for World Cups in the future?
You know, the problem with that is that the standards, the gap between Sundowns and other teams in the Premier League is very, very huge. So that makes it difficult for my teams to properly develop. For example, Owen Human signed for Imazul. It's not even gonna develop today Imazul. But you can see Roman Human whenever he was playing Umarisbeck, he was carrying Umarisbeck on his shoulders as a 10. And he's very young. And that player, you can see, okay, this is the player if you Sundowns should sign they should just develop and be like, okay, well, we are gonna give you the same program we gave to Tembazwana. Because if you do understand some other things with players such as Abu Tembazwana, you can't teach them. Now, the player like Owen Human, there's similarities between Nabo Tembazwana. Now, you can't teach them. You can't teach them image intelligence. A player can be able to pick up a true pass, to keep a long pass, a pass no good. So it's one of those things. Those players that we see, they have a quality of being future stars. Bafana Bafana. They are currently wrong team, coached by wrong coaches. So a player is not even getting enough game time. Your team is either being benched. Look at Ethan Brooks. Ethan Brooks was coming up all right. Hugo Pros. Now he's there. He's not even considered to being picked over or what. So it's one of those things. Some players are being coached at wrong team. Look at Goodman Musele. Is there Guchipa United, but Use for me. But the only problem with now Use team in wrong. So it's one of those things. And also Abumtu with Kaizer Chiefs. It's getting about Atazwan, it's getting a Mumlifintegi. Abo coach that doesn't even care about developing. Abo coach that only thinks about it club. Because as a coach, now saying I understand, he's not only thinking about Sundown, but he's thinking about giving him Bafana quality players to pick from. Like imagine you are having almost 7 players the Mamelodi Sundowns. This shows whenever he's coaching, the player is always keeping them to a mentality of good guys. I want you to perform to the point of Bafana Bafana and become like Barcelona with Spain. I want you to dominate Bafana Bafana. And you can clearly see the mentality of Sundowns. But wait, you are not playing for Sundowns, but you are representing South Africa again whenever you have. But look at Amayama teams, they're not even doing that. They have superstars, they have young players. Look at who's that player? Ukaping, Orlando Pirates. Joseph Vieira bench. And this Lama player was a national team. Before he joined Orlando Pirates, he was there go Kosafa Cup tournament. And he did wonders go Kosafa Cup tournament Ukaping. But now he came to a team like Orlando Pirates, the coach is overlooking him, not even playing him minutes important. So it's costing our development in terms of Bafana Bafana. So it's one of those things that some player they are gonna carry on where Amazon are gonna live. They are not even selected guma teams like Umabasa is playing for Swallows, he's scoring goals, but it's not even considered by Hugo Bros.
So then I think the question then becomes, should Hugo Bros did he do the things that he did, like Ngabo Lipasa, where Lipasa wasn't necessarily a famous player or whatever, and let them get some shine? Should he care? Or should he ride the Tembazwana train until somebody at PSL puts their hand up? Should he have a hand in bringing in these guys? Because I'm looking at the comments and some people are speaking about young players. Some people are speaking about older players. So is it a case of Bruce must take Mfukeng and make him a Bafana player? Or should he take Tito? I'll just use that example, Tito, and take him because he's performing. Should he care about this development?
Yeah, he should. For the fact that he's able to take Unyiko Mob when Unyiko Mob is flopping go club level, then he should do the same with other players. He should consider them to select them, even if he knows okay, this player go team is not even playing a cool. That's why I'm gonna put on Aboronian Human. Be like, okay, I did take Ngam Kosafa Cup and he showed what he can play for Bafana Bafana. Let me take him like Bafana Bafana and expose him more to international audience, international like I'm a scout, I'm an agent. But I feel like sometimes as a coach, you need to gamble. You need to gamble because my players they Bafana Bafana. Yes, they are performing, but I don't think Uti Bazo last like cool because now Utembazwana is taking over from what about we're doing. So now we are wanting the next Tembazwana because now it's AFCON, we're gonna have any AFCON even World Cup. Yes, we seriously gonna need someone that will be ready to develop because going in national team is not where we develop players, but we want players that are ready. So yes, there are my players that are ready. That I feel like they are ready, but they are being overlooked at club level. So if we play, you are being overlooked at club level, then the national team coach won't even look go okay. I will take this player ngumfaka Bafana Bafana because if he knows good now you are not getting even minutes maning. You see them the Mutau situation. I remember Hugo Bros used to criticize Mutau. No Tembazwan, he once criticized Utembazwan. Party sometimes you are like you know what, it's in barely pride at the lane. Same thing it did to Umutau. And
Okay.
it's the same thing he should do to praise. Yes, he did criticize to praise and be like, I to praise. But the way Bafana Bafana Talangakon, you are gonna need a to praise there, playing on the shoulder. Seriously.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Hey, never play with Chiefs, and then they're gonna tell me that it's an issue. Let me go to Lord Muller. Lord Muller, how big of a problem is it that up to this point we don't know who's gonna take over from Themba Zwane, even at club level, and also there's a lot of positions at Bafana Bafana where there's no clear next player or people that are gonna come in. How big of a problem is that?
Gosh, it's a very big problem. We do have players. That one thing that I've noticed or that I can think of or say is South African players, they are afraid of stage fright, of big events. They're afraid of big events, or they have, I don't know what's the problem with them with big events. So hence I'm saying you look at the Sundowns players, they're not afraid of big events. That's why they play the way they play. We do have Abu Mufokeng. Is it Mufokeng? That Ratomo. I'd say Ratomo. I don't know his new
It's
surname.
come meet out the old surname. Kim Fukeng now.
Yeah, Kilibete that the new surname. So we do have Abu Ratomo, Abu Mshini, Ngobo. We have quite a few young players, of which I think Ngalama game lao or Kadi game so these are the players that he can see or check if they're able to withstand the pressure. Because Zwane is old now. We need a replacement for Zwane. So who's going to be there? There's a lot. There's as Ndlela said, there's human. He counted a whole lot of them. So we can start by using them. Kadi free games, only Kadi free games. But the problem is with South Africans. When we start losing, now they start blaming the coach, and they don't get the concept of no, this is a free game. I'm seeing, or I want to view players that I can use for big tournaments. Players that have courage, players that can go and fight for the badge, players that won't idolize another player because they play at Europe. You look at how we lost against France. Everyone was playing, they was idolizing France. They were idolizing Mbappe. They did not want to mark him the way they should. It shows them that they do not have the character of big events. But now,
But then should Hugo Bruce, should it be Hugo Bruce's job to take whoever, let's say Mfukeng, to take Mfukeng and developing, similar to how he did with Lipasa when Lipasa wasn't popular. Should it be his job to do that? Or should, as national team coach, as in Themba Zwane is the best right now, I'm going to ride the Themba Zwane train up until another player puts his hand up in the PSL. How involved should Hugo Bruce be in making those players ready?
Okay. Hugo Bros is the principal of the school.
Okay.
The school it's the clubs and the players. So if you are the principal or if you are the president of the country, you need to nurture your product. So if you are not nurturing your product, then we won't have a final product. So yes, Hugo Bros must be in contact with the coaches of all these clubs, sit them down, come to a consensus, understand each other, and give those coaches his plans. Because if you do not have plans, and then coaches won't give you their players because they feel like you're just going to bench them. But give them your plan, give them your 5-year plan, give them your 10-year plan. And for as long as you're still a coach in South Africa, give them a 5-year plan if you are contracted for 5 years. You know, tell them, guys, let's work hand in hand. Give me these players. Please play these players. You know, find a way. Yauri, these players must at least play 4-5 games. You know, if they don't play 4-5 games, let them at least play 3 games, full 90 minutes. You know, or let's say it's 75 minutes. Leave them with that 15 minutes to go and rest because they're still young, and you need to still motivate them. That's what I think.
Okay. Let me bring it to Theo. Now we don't have people who are following. Right now. Is that a problem that a lot of the key positions, and not just Bafana Bafana, Urlane said the same thing about Uzwane. Is it a problem? How big of a problem is it that we don't have who's next?
Guys, man, we know in Sundowns, Uzwane is not going to be a problem. No, Abu Bakar Nazir, but that guy is going to fit like a glove when Zwane is gone. But now the problem is, you go South Africa. Besides Uzwane, guys, we have a lot of problems. You look at the back, you know, Muda Magalimele, we have to bring in Mobi, which is a different element. I mean, what I'm saying is, let's not look at individual players. Let's look at players that needs to fit in the system of the coach. Right now, Izolo, you didn't need a Dupreez, guys. Let's be honest. You didn't need a Dupreez. You just needed players that can play the ball and then open in the space, find pockets. Like, there are certain games that you watch and you're like, okay. Usalengla was not going to be a good player because it's going to expose him. Muguti, he likes running into the space and then brings in crosses. No, sometimes you just need a player that will cut in and understand those kind of elements. So for me, I think Uzwane is not going to be a problem in South Africa, but we need to find players that are going to fit in the system, not just individual players that we think are good. I mean, for me, I would say Umtu Shabalala is great. Yeah, but the question is, can he fit in what the coach is doing? Can he play no Mukwena? Can he assist Mukwena? Can he hold the ball the way? Can Mukwena trust him? Yeah, and another thing, guys, that is very key.
And also, before you go on from that point, it brings me to the other question. Should it be Hugo Bruce's job to take Umtu and play him until he gets better? I mean, he's done it before for some players. But should it be his job to Umtu agadali Kaizer Chiefs?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? And then now, should he be the one? Or should he just go, Yazini guys, Mina, who you guys are? If the best player is 35, so Dalalo 35, up until the point there's another player who can take that spot.
Then
How should he handle it?
Then he's doing, if he does that, he will be doing what Baxter did at Chiefs, which is doing, it's like you are working for yourself and then your predecessors, you don't care about them. For me personally, I used to cry even Sadala Abu Shabalala, Abu Banbani, Western under 23 that was on fire. The likes of Abu Arasmas, I remember those young boys that were coming in that. I remember one time I said, those players, I watched those guys under 23. I was like, wow. And my question was, why don't our coach at that time, I forgot who it was, would just throw those boys in, you know, in one game, a friendly, as I show Umula, like in a friendly game, just throw all of them in, bench all these other boys, even if we lose 5-0, but let's see what can they do. Let's see that loss is going to hurt them. You understand? That loss is going to affect them into a point where in the next game, when they are given a chance, they are going to say, guys, we cannot do what we did last time. Let's try and find a way. So for me, I think you bring in these young players, like for an example, guys, you don't need to bring Mtanzan is not supposed to be there. Totally, there are many players that I can count that should not even be considered for Bafana Bafana in the future. Yes, they can be considered for now.
Can he afford to do that? Masika lose a 5-0. The next day it's not going to be youngsters. It's going to be
who's the next coach?
5-0.
And Tina says, who's next? You must bring him back, Pete, so he must be fired. But that shows, let me make an example in Argentina, guys. There will never be another Messi. There will never be another Messi. Dybala will never be Messi. He can play nearly, he will never be like him. There will never be another Ronaldo in Portugal. But the question is, can they find players that can fit in the system? You look at what they did, France did with Mbappe, guys. Man, this thing is not rocket science. Mbappe is not Benzema. They are not the same. But you bring a player that has a different element, you fit him into the system, you make him the core of the team. Your team, there's no way he will suffer. Inkinga yethu thina, we want to make Uthemba Zwane a sole player. At the moment, he's the core. But you take out Zwane, Mkwena can do what Zwane is doing. We saw yesterday Ukuthi Mkwena is able to integrate players. He has grown from what we use him to. We know him from Super Sport. You see him now; he has developed a lot, Jabo. But my question is, can we find players that can come in and bring something better than what Zwane was doing, or even if it's not going to be better, but a different element that will improve the team? And the answer is yes. And I will tell you again, the coach, whether we like it or not, the teams are okay. The only coach that is doing it's Uvalo Sundowns kuphela. The Pirates guy, okay, and then the Pirates Nyana is trying, but Ushawa squad loyal. Good Chiefs guys, I promise you, he's not gonna get players. Go Super Sport, he might not. Go Swallows, he's not gonna get players in Swallows. I can count you teams that if he can say I'm gonna wait for coaches to develop, he's gonna suffer. Unless he goes and watch multi-choice Tiski and he selects certain few players, bring them on, and then he will have a squad that he will say he's proud of, than to be busy blaming coaches or
Okay. No, Nyaguza, let me bring Kwani. How much of a problem is it that we don't have people to come next? Is it a problem? Should Hugo Bruce even care about that? Should Hugo Bruce just be picking the best guys at the time, whether una 30, whether una 23, as long as you're good with putting him in, or should he be developing players for Bafana Bafana?
I can't be developing players for Bafana Bafana because remember, let's just say Izolo nje, let's just say if Bafana Bafana win Izolo, like I can bet you there are some fans who are licking their lips waiting to say "Niyayibona ke le Sundowns yenu," you understand? So he could go either way, Fitz. So even if he could select more players from Sundowns, but still, Fitz, kunabantu abalindele iloss eyodwa. So niyayibona le Sundowns yenu. So engakuthi mina ukuthi I was so disappointed with this Pirates couldn't like qualify for either the CAF Champions League.
Yeah.
It was gonna help players njengotito for exposure to a bigger stage than the PSL fethu. So and unfortunately Utito what chose up it's Orlando Pirates because if you remember Utito was the priority with Sundowns. So for me, I think Sundowns I did identify Utito as the next Timbers one. So but unfortunately he chose the Pirates. But if Pirates was able to qualify to CAF Champions League, I think ibizodlala irole enkulu kakhulu ekutheni ithole imnikeze experience going forward and be able to play we hostile njengayizolo we crowd that is so hostile like yesterday.
Okay.
So for me it's very important with ama team like South Africa qualify for CAF Champions League for exposure for my players coming to my national team with as well, which compete in bigger stages. Because we could see it was only Sundowns players who didn't fringe, who wasn't scared. But bringing in the crowd, it was in effect to them because they tried the land.
Okay.
Yeah, so we will have more teams next season. Abazulala Champions League.
Look, I'm gonna just jump in. Thank you so much, Kolani. Before I let in the next panel, Sonabo says Ubanu Tito. Tito is Maswanganyi. Tito, his nickname. If I can just jump in, look, that's I think my question has always been: should a coach be thinking short term or long term? And a lot of coaches, unfortunately, don't have the luxury of going long term. You develop when you know, for the next 5 years, I'm going to be there. But if you're coaching for your job, I don't think you have the luxury to say you're developing players. My only worry is that, as South Africa, as Mzansi, we like to find the players and then say focus until we're gonna ride them up until the wheels fall off. Slow speaker. Think about how long Shaba played. Think about how long Yeye played. About Tico, because we found them and we were like, we're gonna focus here for so long. What's hurting Barcelona? What hurt Barcelona over the past few years was that they had Abo Xavi, Abo Iniesta, Abo Banbane, but because they didn't think of where we're going, that became an issue. And Utemba Zwane is a very interesting case because Utemba Zwane is the same naseklapini yakhe. So at Sundowns, Rulani says the same things. Utemba Zwane is my most important player, all of this stuff, all of that. So now you're saying, Guti, who's going to be the next Utemba Zwane? What steps are being taken at club level, at national level, not just at Bafana Bafana, to make sure that that player is ready to take over that role, is being groomed to take over that role, right? But you got to balance it. You want to develop, as Kuma's pointing out here, you want to think long term. Then there, guys, the pressure's on right now, you know. We speak about Baxter. I saw somebody speak about Baxter. Baxter understood that I needed to win. I don't have time at Kaizer Chiefs to be talking projects and all of that. So he came in, he got guys that could understand what he wanted to do, and he played it. CJ, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you doing?
Hi, Tipa man. How are you?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good. I'm going to start you off where I always start people off. What are your general thoughts about yesterday's game? I know you got some. I'm giving you some time now to flesh it
First of
out.
all, hey, Abantu, I don't know whether it is me or the love. You know when love is blind? You know when love is blind? Your wife will cheat on you and you'll say, you're a beautiful wife. Yeah, I'm not cheat. Because love is blind. You know, love is blind. People are saying, hey, Tempers one, hey, I watched Tempers one only putting passes to the final third, only 4 of them, the entire game. And now people are saying, Ngwenya, Ngwenya. But anyway, I'm not gonna burst anyone's bubble. The credit to the Ivory Coast defense. Those guys timed their tackles to perfection. Even the goal that Bafana Bafana scored came on a very beautiful high press by Mokwen, which he gave it to Tembas, and he ran directly to space and nice cross back. And he is Utembazwane is class. The way he finished that ball, that demonstrates as a late entrance into the box, which is I think for me is the perfect position for him to play right behind the strikers. And I think Tembazwane needs a minimum 2 strikers or a mobile striker than to have wingers play Nabos. And I think when he's got Abole Pasa like he does with Lomfana or Shalulile at Sundowns, you need a striker that that runs into the box and creates that pocket. So if you're not going to give him that, you are going to play with false number 9s. I don't think that is going to be that will not bring the best out of him. So that's why that game for me, I don't like the striker that was playing. That guy, I don't know, he's running. I don't know where he thinks the ball is going to go, and I think it almost exposed Tembazwane because Tembazwane is expecting him to run a certain way, and he doesn't. And then the next thing now, Tembazwane has to think of his feet while he's thinking the ball gets taken away, or he gets up. But you saw how frustrated he became because they kept on pushing him off the ball, they kept on sweeping him off the ball, and the ref was not on our side in terms of giving those moments as foul for us, in particular. So I think they played very well. There's a Chapman that was playing number 12. He was wearing number 12. I don't know what he was doing in the game. I don't know what he was doing.
Number 12, someone.
I don't know what was his purpose. Aubrey was wearing number 6 as well. I saw him making nice tackles towards the left of the field. Other than that, I also don't know what he was doing in this game as well. South Africa was disjointed, man, in this match. They were very disjointed. And I think a lot of people are saying, hey, we should have scored. Hey, Ivory Coast should have buried South Africa at least 6-0 in that match. The amount of.
6 in the second
Yeah,
half.
in particular, let's start from the first half.
Okay.
They were after the goal that Bafana Bafana scored. It was all Ivory Coast. Thank you to Rowan Williams. Made a brilliant save. There was a light side, and then I thought that was a goal. But thanks to him. Also, there was another goal that they missed. He hit it over the bar. I was like, our defense here is being exploited. So they missed the goal. Work the other mess, and there were two goals that two open headers. One became a goal, and the other one he missed it as well. So I was very worried there. I was very, very worried that we are not picking our players very well. I don't agree with this thing of bringing Dupreez. I don't think Dupreez would have made any difference in this match. I think it was going to expose him very, very. The type of play that Hugo Boss is playing, I think the players that he has selected are perfect type of football that he is currently playing. And I think people saying that he must bring in more Sundowns players because this is the type of football that we are witnessing at Sundowns. I don't think they should add Abanye from other teams. I think Sundowns understand this particular thing very well, and I think if we solidify the team with the core of Sundowns, then I think we will do better in AFCON. I think we do well in AFCON if we've got players that understand this type of play. This one pivot, 2 8s, and a static that runs just between the lines of the 18-yard lines. Then we will. I think we will do well because Pesitao understands those runs very well. I think this what's this guy's name that is in yes, and no, the colored chap. He understands those runs.
Yeah, Foster.
Yes, but what is worrying it is the substitutions that the coach, the timing of the substitutions. For me, it just doesn't make sense in terms of wait up until 8 years. I don't think Tembazole should have played more than the 65th minute, in my view. Substituted. But then the question is, who are you going to bring?
Exactly.
Who are you going to bring? Do you try and see if it's going to do well? Or who else was the ball player there? I think Tanzania was the only one that we can see as a ball carrier and a ball player. Why don't you try him so that we know that we've got Tembazwane as our default, then we've got a substitution that in Tanzania that we know that if anything happened to Tembazwane, we must not wait until Tembazwane is injured for us to play. Oh yes, Cassius Malula, understand that I fully agree with Malula as well. Wait until Tembazwane is injured for us to think of someone else to put in. That's my
I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna come back. Let me just let everybody come in. Wanga, how are you?
Shasha Buddha, who's it?
No, you're right, Buddha. Tell me, we want to game. General thoughts about this game?
My general thought about that game is the picture that you just showed us right now, the one that is there.
Yeah.
Basheshe wakora, basheshe balala. So yeah, that's the problem that we had yesterday. And this thing of don't having a dynamic way of playing. Would want to play this one dimension way of playing. I was listening to the commentary Kambazo after the first half of the break. He said this thing. I mean, you can't take for granted what Umbazo was saying. It was his played at the top level of the game. You understand? Sometimes you need that type of play. Sometimes you need to just like loop it. Sometimes it doesn't have to be played. Look what it almost got us to with Umvala and Rowan Williams at the back. Almost scored the Ivory Coast. Sometimes you don't need that, bruh. You understand? And also, it was a fair game. I feel that we had the strength to play with Ivory Coast. Mutau. That guy, I don't know how old he is, but he doesn't deserve to be playing in PSL. That's my own opinion and view. He's solid. That guy. He play. Yesterday he just confirmed his place. Bafana Bafana. He's a start. He's a start for that position. And with the case of Uzwane, I would keep Uzwane. How old is Uzwane, by the way? Help me.
I believe he's was he
34?
34 something. Let me check. I'll check and let you know.
33, 34, 35. That's nothing. He can still play for about 3 years to come. And you see Ubutuzwane, when you're looking at him playing today, even he doesn't seem as a person who will drop anytime soon. Because if you give that type of a consistency from a local-based team, of course, which is a big team, and you also take that into a national team, the same consistent play, that tells a lot about what type of a player you are. You just need somebody who's going to be there and be shadowing others and knows very well. My job here is to shadow Tembazwan. I think also the other problem that we have, I think in SA football in general, we have a problem if it transition. Tina, what we do, we replace instead of transiting. You take out Sipwe Shabalala. You put in somebody that you think that is going to be doing well. But instead of trying to check for somebody who's like, okay, this person has been doing well. How about putting this person to be a shadow for Shabalala and knows very well what Shabalala has been doing to Bafana. This person, how he was playing Queen Kaizer Chiefs. So I think we have that problem, Tina, with South African football. It's not going to help us. It has never helped us. It cost us a lot. 1998 is a proven example. From 1996 to 1998, you changed the whole team. Why? Why? From 2010, you changed the whole team to 2012. Why? You know what I mean? For me, that's my opinion again. You see that 2010 team that we had is the second best after the 1996. What do you do? What have you learned from 1996? Nothing. From 2010, nothing we have learned. It's still the same thing. We have a promising team right now, and we saw how good this team is promising. The team that played yesterday is promising. Hugo Bros, I only have a problem of him. There's nothing you can do with that. It's a personal thing of his. I don't know whether I could call it arrogancy or what, but I don't like that. But that's another thing. We should understand, Wuti, where our football is coming from and where it's supposed to be going or where it is going. Bafana Bafana, you start at Bafana Bafana as a pressure, you go down and see who is following after Bafana Bafana going down. Kaizer Chiefs, you can say Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, Solos, or whatever. You can't tell me because of Kaizer Chiefs is not playing well at the moment or it's not producing results. It's poor. All of a sudden, that's amateur. I would say that's an amateur way of approach and remark. As a person of development, you know where these guys are coming from. For them to be at the Kaizer Chiefs, they've got a high caliber of taking pressure. They know what it is to play for a big a brand, So you can't tell me now because of Utupri is playing for Kaizer Chiefs and Kaizer Chiefs is not producing results. He can't be playing for Bafana. Same as Msimango and Ungobo at the back and Frostler at the same time. We complaining about our Modi and we can see Bafetu Modi what he's doing. Bafana. And I think the whole country can agree that Modi doesn't deserve to be there. Mbob, yeah. If we say that Umutau needs a shadow, put Monyane there. We saw Monyane how he's playing Orlando Pirates. Put Froster there if you don't want to, because those are teams that are high there. If there is no person that you say, okay, fine, because of you don't want to use all the players from Sundowns, there are quality players from Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. Use them. Use them. I would take Matlou to be there as an ice boy of Ulent or Uzwane. Or probably you have Matlou as a second ice boy, or Mukwena, you know what, or second as a second ice boy. You know what I'm trying to say. Not that he's going to be playing, but he should be there and see. Don't take him out. Let him motivate him to play more as good as possible with Team Yake. And he knows that he's also a quality of Bafana Bafana. At any time he's going to be called to be there to take charge. You know what I mean? Okay. So I only have going forward, my brother. I so wish that we take care of this team. And man, transition. We need to talk about this thing of transitioning from one player to another player. It's going to cost us something. Yeah, it's going to cost us big time. Yeah, man.
Let me jump in. Thank you so much. Let me jump in and bring you Belile. Unjan, bro. I'm okay. Firstly, general thoughts about DK Meyer is all.
That's something like yesterday, like a good game, but in patches. If you look at my cycle, the first 15 minutes in the first half and the first 15 to 20 minutes in the second half. But that's why I get playing in patches. But I think there is something that we can learn there in terms of like now starting to identify my players segment AFCON, of which Umda we are qualifier currently. Utembazwane, yes, there's no debate there. No Mukwena. What I'm not quite sure about central defense. I don't think will compliment Umvala kahle. And there were two or three balls that went in my headers. They were free, like there. And Umvala was trying to track the other guy. Then Utul was always like catch up, like napping there. Anga check like with the headers. So that thing, I think that one needs to be fixed there. Bese about defensive six. Usithole naye. Second thing, I think it's the third game ngimbona adlala. Unike nakuma-qualifying engambona before. Kwesikhathi ukusebenza kanzima nokuba smart kunomehluko. He's a hard worker yena, but I haven't seen him like taking charge and try to be smart. That's why you'll see Umukwena in most cases. He'll always like to track back because I don't think Uyamtrasta Usithole or any other defensive. And of which Umukwena, if you can look Umukwena go Super Sport, he was playing freely, like mostly behind, most of attacking because there was Kojumanda Ngamla be captain here to before.
Toby, not Toby.
Toby.
I'm forgetting the name, man.
Yeah, and by then, Umkwena was having that free role. We are going to attack and take shots and goal that then combine well. No one. But there's good things to take out of the game.
There we go, Furman.
Yes. But also to add Google question, Dean Freeman, Dean Freeman. He allowed Umukwena just to be himself, and Umukwena trusted Dean Freeman, which he will do all the clean job that behind him. Up front, that combination, I'm not quite sure who will really go as our first man. Do we go with Lyle Foster because he plays in England, or do we go with form? But because they haven't come out clearly, all of them now, but each chance. But I think there's few things that we've learned from yesterday's games, and hopefully coach can see, because sometimes you can have your formation that you use as a coach when I play this type of system, but also to agree with Abafuetu, it also helps to have that element of surprise. If it means good, and sometimes you have to change the way you play and bring in Dupreez to some of the few games that we have to change the strategy. So be it, because he is playing good for Kaizer Chiefs currently, and do you see what they uses his strength, the Chiefs kahle ukuthi abanye when isebenzisa yena kakhulu. So, but now as a coach, you need that variety sometimes to change, because you're going to play with different teams that we have gone. I would like to make one Jalo Pen, and there's going to be different challenges that we're going to face. Secondly, if we have to ask Hugo Breeze, as I've said before, with Hugo Breeze, this is a national team. You select the best players, but if you want to nurture some of the players into the national team, there is a platform to nurture them, of which I don't know whether arrangement Yabo or he is ignorant enough to treat the COSAFA Cup as like nothing. Because he's a Bafana Bafana player. Bafana Bafana mayedlala ku-COSAFA iBafana Bafana ayibizwa ngelinye igama. So I think that's the platform for him to select these players. Lawa manye mention abo Mufukeng, abo Zwane, or abo lawa manye nje vele. Just to see them. You know, because if you look at COSAFA, it's what let's do now. The same players like Baba COSAFA, they bring their best players. In Namibia, COSAFA, in Mozambique, they bring their best players COSAFA. So it's a good platform for him. I get coach team COSAFA. That's a good platform for him. Choose those players and also create a platform so that you nurture them and see what you are trying to in order to know uzwane ageko ngakhetha bani. You can see there. That's a perfect platform for me.
Okay. Guys, please tap the screen now. Kupari likes, guys. Kupari likes how? Like 2.3. Can you try get to 15,000? Let's go to the Abuta Polo and Lekamo.
Itengoka abuti.
Ke bona o chinchile the profile pictures. Well, like it's ke
Tla re bana ba banyane ba khotla
Umplele. We won in ka game ena yesterday.
Bafana Bafana dladile ke kopa dumisa le panel. Bafana Bafana dladile but coach wa rona le yena I don't know if it is right. Re khathetse go build ba fit. Bone re build. Tse ke khathetse build. We were approaching 2010 barra build. Bona boteko ba boma bo shabalala. They didn't even qualify to the next round. Because ne dutse ko bona waya so. We basically futhi squad sa 2010 it was worse. Le numbers over mo recommend numbers. Mbazo lena ke mbobo o re coasted o tshwana le na movie o. Ramtse ba mbazo. Mbazo ke mbobo. He can talk the fluent English, he can play in the Premier League, but ke mbobo yena self o re coasted go yona 2010 World Cup. I understand, don't you? So, Rona, now what I'm crying about, our team is playing, but Coach Arona, who see the players right because of team high performing according to the way Santi perform again because we need players 3 or 4 from Kaizer Chiefs. We need those kind of players. Ona no Bafana. Haina a speedy striker. Haina so. Where is to please? We can name the players Zengata. And I didn't tell okay. So I just want to ask Zwane Jonongena, the God of Angel South Africa. If Zwane is out, then Hana replacement. The the whole DSTV, Hauna play can replace Zwane. There's no way. I'm not hating Sundowns or anything. Zwanike wadlala, white about Bolia high, and he's not scared. But one thing that we must know for Zwanele, if we qualify to the next World Cup, we might take him, we might not. You can check Squatsa England. Squatsa England got the next World Cup. Kibo 35, Kibo 34, Kibo 36. Baba Dala no. Yeah, there's very young players. Kibo na batle bana le 25, 28, but
Ronaldo, Bellingham,
yes. Well, I understand. We have quality, but due to soccer it has got politics too much. That's why we won't go anywhere. I won't lie to you. Maubani, we've played very well. Here and there, those chops and changes still already ridiculous. It's actually no movie over there. Why we keep on ke Maguire wa South Africa. Ngona lo dala golf once that guy.
He hasn't been super bad.
Now I feel to like the way I watched Bafana, it played very well, but here and there only. But our players they need to keep consistency. And Bafana Bafana is not Sundowns. There's no way we have to copycat Rolani the way Atalanta did. It's gonna cost us.
Okay.
It's gonna cost us. I won't lie. Rabatse abomva bona umvala ka ofela re bua ka mistake ya mvala le ena kotsi yo we know ba slow ba litho a re mvala aska kena but then give other players a chance by improve bomsimang oboma we need those kind of players oba kenye ko di games so
Okay.
yeah just to gain momentum le bona ba ska tshaba a tse ba rona di players tsa South Africa di tsaba big stage. So let's give those players a chance. Ona the tongue exciting karona South Africans. Brazil can introduce a player 17 years or a Germany can introduce a player 17 years because they go well stage in the World Cup. Half it's blind. But you know we cannot sithathe umfukeng or sithathe ushaba simfake lapha. Why we cannot do those things? Why we cannot? Why? I just want to ask. But we can bet mouth a coach. Hey, this coach Lenaha, take those young players. Take those young players, put them on the big stage. Yes, that's where you're gonna see all these players' potential. The players that are overseas from South Africa, it's a because of the big stages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sinja, I want to come back to you. You know, in the last panel, we spoke very long term about doubles one and all that. I want to speak about this Bafana Bafana team. I know in general we have an idea of what that starting lineup is going to be. But how is it an issue that we don't know who the second team of Bafana Bafana is? And it seems as though caps are being given out and we're not necessarily sure what happens when we have to play a second team. Is it a problem?
Of course, it's a problem because it's a problem. It's a huge problem. And I'm gonna say something that is very controversial, and I hope people are good. You see, the type of football that Sundowns plays, it's good for league. That's why they don't win trophies. That's why they don't win trophies. Even in camp, they're good at group stages. After group stages, they don't go far because you need versatility in the type of play. You need growth. You need development. You need element of surprise. If 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 you are going to go on a tournament, you need to surprise your opponent. You need to build for your opponent.
Yeah.
I'm very worried that in the Bafana Bafana setup, there's no player that is in there 20, 21, 22. I am very, very, very worried. I am super, super worried that you are going into a tournament without a single player that is 18, 19, 20, and 21.
But even just the group, to say that, you look at the game versus Eswatini. Abo Mayo came in, Abos Banbani came in, Abo Plom came in, but you could tell that they were not ready for the game, or they haven't had enough game time or exposure that. And sometimes you see Simang come in, then you see Mondi come in, then they're out. Then you see somebody else come in, and then they're out. At this point, man, shouldn't we have a set, maybe 25 players that we know have been tried and tested, and they're going to be, should we need to change the team, like you're saying, guys will come in and be ready?
You should be able to say, okay, these are I'll make an example. As a coach, you have to have at least 6 to 7 formations that you use. And then you can select which are the type of players that I'm going to use when I'm going to play this particular formation.
Okay.
That is one of the things that I used to cry about Ernest Middendorf, is that he's got this to play those crosses, but he does not have players to play. He does not have a different system to play certain players to play the ball on the ground, which actually costed him the league, because now people started to figure out how he plays.
They figured out plan A.
Because now if you've got Tembazwane, and now obviously all the countries in the world know Tembazwan, and they're going to figure out a plan for Tembazwan. What are you going to
Mm. Yeah.
do? You know what are you going to do then? And I think that is how Chiefs managed to get to the final of the CAF with the weakest team ever produced by Kaizer Chiefs. Weakest team, they went to the final. How? By the element of surprise. When
Yeah.
people thought is going to do, then Arthur Zwane and Stuart Baxter do the direct opposite. You know, Kevin Hunt. That is what I love about Kevin Hunt. The element of surprise. You think that this is what he's going to do, then guess what? Boom. Kevin Hunt does something different. You think that Kevin Hunt, everyone is saying, hey, play Blom on the right hand side and right back. What does Kevin Hunt do? He throws him in the middle. Because no one knows. You get what I'm trying to say? He throws Malala right behind Savar Nukovic, and then he scores goals. Hey, where does this thing happen? That's what we need in Bafana. Element of surprise. Element. There must be a huge surprise in Bafana. That is what is missing. And that is what is lacking excitement. That is why we don't even want to go on the field. That's why we don't go to the stadium, because they don't have any surprise.
Okay. Let me go to Wangaletu. You know, usually you have a 25-man squad, and especially at national team level, everybody's ready. But it feels as though the bench guys and the secondary team guys has been up and down. It's been chopped and changed a lot. Should we be making an issue about that? That should the first team not play, or should the first plan not work? We don't necessarily have people who are ready, because when we see them come in from the fringes of the team, it doesn't seem like, man, they click and they get into the game and know how to run with the game. Is that an issue?
Bro, I would make it very short if it's possible. I hope so. I agree with everything that Ubrasinja just said. You see, Yonke Landaitetayo, it's aligned with what I'm going to say. You know, you've got this team right now that is playing this way, that we've identified that it's playing this way, and we probably agree, all of us, that it's playing the way it's playing. Now, the only thing that you need is dynamic. You know, find a team or find a personnel that is going to play something totally different from what you currently playing. Like, for instance, what I was thinking about, which I was like so edgy to say also when I finished, I forgot to say it. You need a Dupree. You see, towards the end of this game, especially before they scored the goal, the Ivory Coast, you needed a player like Dupree. Whereby now, you do not have this thing in your mind that you're going to be playing from the back, but you need somebody that you're going to be spotting and just put that ball and run. That's the only thing that you should be doing, because now it eliminates all the pressure from them. They will be thinking about Dupree. That's the only thing that they'll be doing. They will be thinking about the pace of Dupree. So, Mina, I think, personally, to answer you, we just need dynamic. We just need dynamic. Letimu, it shouldn't be playing one dimension. It should be playing a very flexible way of playing football. You understand that? It's true that the Kaizer Chiefs, it's at this play. Yeah, Sundowns has been playing like this. Of course, we're going to be talking about Sundowns right now. It's been brought here. It's good for a league. Indeed, we are good as we are not cup kings for nothing. You know what I mean? Sundowns it's been consistent with the league because of that way of their playing. You know, so Nina, I wish that we use that dynamic. This is our strength, that thing, bro. It's our strength. I think we need to identify that as our strength as well. That we've got so many ways of playing. We've got so many ways that we've identified in the world how this football needs to be played. We've got our own culture. Let's also mix it with what we've seen outside South Africa and make it work for us in return. That way we're going to be successful. That's my thinking. Thank you so much, Budaya.
Okay. No, thank you.
Man.
Velile, I'm gonna come to you. You know, Kwanaman just I'm Springboks at the World Cup, and it almost feels as though that team is whether you are starting 15, whether you're on the bench, you have gotten time enough
Thanks
to
for
get.
bringing the Springboks thing, bro.
You've had time to play, get acclimatized to everybody. You've had time to get ready. When you're thrown in, whether Ras is doing some crazy things, the players are ready. But it seems as though Bafana Bafana, we don't necessarily have a second unit of players that is consistent and that is ready to play. We saw what happened versus Eswatini when we made some changes to the team. Should we be worried about that type of thing? Guti, at this point, going to AFCON, if the starting lineup maybe siyasazi, but lababanye, they don't even look ready to play.
Yeah, we should be worried, but also to borrow from what Abafoetu they've said, that thing is built by a coach in terms of like a consistency and identifying the different type of style of playing. Because remember, sometimes when you plan for a match as a coach, you plan according to the team that they are going to face. But also at the same time, now you must need to have an element of surprise and also give them something to worry about. As much as they say, like as I've said earlier on, Udupri was cutting Yamtanda because noma ngabe esayengakhi but ukuba khona kwakhe groundini sometimes your defense you've got something to worry about. Angithola ukuthi okay naku kudlala kanje. For example, the Sundowns have got a certain style of playing of which we know. So that's why sometimes they struggle with my cup. Because if you see the Sundowns, idlala ibhola, they just play football. They play their own style, whether like open play. That's why you find that never lose last season. Semi-final CAF because instead of them leading 2-1 to close shop, it's a cup game, but they continue playing their normal style, and then Casablanca ended up like equalizing, which they won away goal. So coach, you need to have those two teams, but you have your first team, but angeke identify the second team or understand the full strength of the players of a country. If you are going to pick and choose among game, as I'm saying, akafuna coach ama-game ekhosafu and those one bazokunika even the platform engana-pressure futhi lapho-ke than lawo ama-game lawo wefriendly or ama-qualified lapha akeke abe ne-pressure. Uzobafaka ubumobi bakhe mhlawumbe makafike ube bamthanda futhi umdlalisa i-10 uzomfaka to see ukuthi uyafita na lo muntu la ngoba ngiyamthanda kanjani, uyangithola. So iyanceda i-platform for yena ikhona that to test other players and also opportunity enye ikhona futhi if you look at because in most like South Africa madlala ama cup game i-weekend ama-cup game amanye ama-team awadlali ku-league, uyangithola. Amanye ama-team uthola ukudlala MTN 8 i-semi-final kudlala ama-team ayi-4 kuphela for i-weekend yonke, amanye ama-team ahleli. Use those chances again to call those players, make us a mini camp and said, okay, for 3 or 4 days, let me organize a camp and see this player and these plans and try combination. Akuna pressure. Yes, umsebenzi wakho lengana inkinga. So when you come here on the field now, lapho kumele sikubone khona produce ama result, then you can come up with those different of element of surprise and say, oh, okay, hayi sesiyabona ukuthi coach wethu uzama ukwenzani lapha. And we do have good players like South Africa. It's just ukuthi abanye awanikwa isikhathi and the platform in time. Ufuna ukumfaka umuntu vese under pressure because uzwana sekalimele. Now sesifuna bani ngespeed ukuthi ungadlala that position because we didn't have. But we do have ama-player khona abo Shabalala abo Nduduzo Sibe. There's a guy in Nduduzo Sibe, captain at I was perfect number 10. More times, just people don't say about Bugeni ball. Perfect number 10 since Igdala has been consistent playing. If you are tired, even never Miami can play position gazwan. But
and mina ngisaba ukuthi bakhona bo Miami, bakhona bo Sibiya, fine. But now have they been brought into the team? One. And then number two, have they been given time to play like Abo Kosafa so that they're ready? Should they be called on Bafana Bafana as a second team or maybe Lava Penchin? Are they ready when Masitu Tembazwane maybe can't play this game? Can we go and fetch somebody who has played and had time within the team? I think that's what's scaring me, Guti. Une squad, Mara. Squad Sako, 13 players are playing. Then Lava Manye in and out, not even consistent, in and out. Today Konabani, tomorrow Konaban. Maybe Mayama Bambiza today, tomorrow Babizus Bia, the next day Babizum Tanzania, the next day. Like there's no consistency enough. Gule second team now. Guti
Yes.
babe effective, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's why you didn't call me support on what you have said. Good vele. The second one, ready because they haven't been introduced to the system, coach, on those other friendly games. Njalo space, start laba siyashintsha, sifaka lo. But if you look at, if we said, okay, we are building a second stream team, we want to introduce this player to a system, it works wonders. Because it did work in Shakes Mashaba. Do you remember Shakes Mashaba coached those guys from under 20 to under 23? And the I think you've got almost 8 players in what like under 23, Abo McCarthy, Booth, Abombazo, all those guys, Abu Kanamea, all of those. If there's a system, because okay, you know, let me just try this. Yes, I've got my core team here, but also it's just in case. Let me just try and build this. The way you should, because I have a platform here, I can go and say, look, go to my coach. So yeah, you platform here,
Okay. Napoleon, I just mentioned the Springboks. So it's the Springboks played versus the France, but Dadile, completely different people. Starting lineup. The other game, the other time, they did some bench thing back in Zebabang. Hey, rugby, they were just shocked what's happening. Do we suffer from that? Bafana Bafana, or we don't have a full team, but by 23-30 that we know hore ba ready go kena, ba ready go dlala. Cause what chincha moto Bruce wa bantsha a kenyo mong today you call ona tomorrow call among. Is that an issue?
I will say this. It's an issue, and I've been saying this. Give other players a chance. Kayona Kosafai. That's where you see players and you groom players for that best substitution for that stage. Say low range. Mo hake chopper this guy. I know this is gonna Okim Kenya auto change. If Kenya Shaba auto change, or if Kenya didn't Twanile Sundowns ile Enyan, that guy Kenya, he's our next Kifli Remy maybe. So our coach decided yena into as Chokarapi, they've given other players a chance. Balorin Batwakai got development. So Rona, South Africa, we don't have a development. We don't have. When I know Rechaisana Kadislomo paneling, Katabaya Zwan. Of which the player the buyer take a replacement Zwan. Not or Sundowns Zwan has no replacement in the whole PSL. Muchoka chincha okakalam better than Zwan. Okakukan South Africa in the middle. Ayokopin. We have such players. They've mentioned that guy from Golden Arrows. There's a player the Kopulukwan City there. Kurufela Osantana Nida touch up here and there. And Human, I'm still going back of Human. Lentone Lalang Amazulu. Come on, Brooks. Brooks, you don't need to polish that boy. Give that boy a ball, Mukenye, then you will see magic. You understand? Honano, we know Mutiba, he can score, he can hit. But can Mutiba do a one man to beat? Does Mutiba run as to breeze or Komishapaka troopers? No. So we don't have such players. Go this team in. But we do have them go the sidelining. So put those chop and change or check. Give yourself speak to these players. Then when as soon as the assistant coach or the management then you that's where you choose or unkama or add as Ocho a second selection team. I understand. Then from there, how about now? Okay, we've qualified for COSAF or we win. That's where you pick and okay, Babatla sister, we have such players, but we won't see them because they are not given a chance. We will be giving Zwani the caps. But all this time, Rona as a country, and he's playing, he's proving. But we need motho o mo tla mo replacer.
Okay.
Akere? Yes. So now I just wish fella on our next game, coach wa rona a shebe dintho ka tsela e different in a new way. I don't know how, but South Africa, we have soccer. We have soccer. We have the player. It's a Makang from back to front. They can score, but combine those players, gel those players. How select 11? How would say right back in a crowd? Those guys they're gonna do magic. If we have, then I'm gonna pick up 1, 2, 3. Then it's game on. Finish.
Okay.
Because this thing of build up, we need to pop the build.
I don't care.
Na mahadu ya wasana itina man.
No, look, let me jump in. I think the reason why I'm asking the question is I'm not one who's saying that SA doesn't have talent. I think SA has a lot of players that can do a lot of things. But we struggle in general at all of our teams, including Bafana Bafana, about a plan B. I'll speak about my own coach, for example. You have Dupré, who's your starting person, and you have Chivavairo, for example. You should know that, okay, in my 25-man squad, when I bring in this player, I can change it and do this. One. And then number two, I know that that player is ready. So what we see is that we have a preferred starting lineup, preferred players. But we're not taking the time to make sure that the guys who are on the fringes get to play and are consistent, so that when we need them to take over, when we need them to play some games, when we need to change the dimensions of a game and bring in somebody else, they're ready. That's what I'm trying to get to with this question, right? What if Thembazwane is having a bad game? What if you've come to a game and that other team, plan A, how they've got it down fully? Do you have a plan B for people to come on? One. And are those people ready to come on? I use the example of the Springboks. Faf is the starting scrum half. He didn't start versus France. And when he didn't start versus France and they started a different lineup, there was no question about whether these guys will be ready. But now we see we played versus Eswatini. And Abo Mayo came in and some other people. And you could tell Guti, Lavantu bakhona ku national team, but abeko ready ukudlala. And it's not up to them because 3 months ago, Mayo might not be in the team. 2 months before that, it's another group of players that have gotten caps to play for Bafana Bafana. A week before that, it was different players who were playing or in that fringe squad. And then we wonder when they come on and they play versus Abo Eswatini, they don't show up. They don't have chemistry. They don't have togetherness. They don't have attitude because they've been sitting and changing up and down. Instead of us saying, you know what, let's look at Usbia, Golden Arrows, and we're going to bring Usbia in to be secondary for the year. He's going to travel with the team. He's going to play about 30 minutes, about 60 minutes. He's going to play about Kosafa. He's going to do all those things so that we know that when we get to AFCON, he might not be Thembazwane, but when we call on him, he's ready. There's a trend. There's a consistency. It's what I spoke to you guys about Jose Rivero, for example. Having a team, having a starting lineup. Will the players on the bench, when they come on, be ready to play? How do you get them ready? Will chopping and changing those guys help you out in the future? So I don't know. I don't think it's a huge problem, but I think it's things we have to look at. And these are the questions we need to ask. Because again, we'll ask the question in 2 years' time. Oh, who's going to take over from Thembazwane? And then you look back and you'll go, have we been getting that person ready? Will it 2 years there Thembazwane? Or are we going to sit in a situation again where Uyeye has been playing all the games, Udikashu has been playing all the games, Tekom this has been playing all the games. Now when they need to leave, it's a problem because there's no one to step in. But you have to plan these things. if well and truly, according to Bruce, Tanzani is the guy that's going to come in, or he's looking at him to come in for Uthemba Zwane, the words of Hugo Bruce, not my words, right? How have you prepared Tanzani for him to take over from Uzwane? Or have you just chosen him now and then all of a sudden he's going to have to start playing? So we need to have, yes, your job is on the line and things like that, but you need to have long and short-term thinking, especially when you're grooming people to come in, when you're grooming people to be secondary picks, when you're going into these tournaments where you might need players that have something different. I won't even say to pray. I'm just saying in general. How are you making sure that those players are ready to take over? You know, if you look at what Sundowns do, you look at what Sundowns do, for example, you sit behind people. Mukwena, there was a pathway before, so that when he took over from Charlie, he's ready to be there. You could speak about Abamailu, like you speak about Abashalili, Abos Banban. There was a pathway where they said, you know what, you might not be Zwane now, but we're making sure that when Zwane dips, we can put you in and you'll be ready to play. Not that we're taking you in jail every day, Chinchabantu, but like I said, I don't know that it'll be a very big problem, but we'll see when we get into these tournaments and we get into these qualifiers. What happens when Uzwane is being closed down? You get what I mean? What happens when those things happen? Because playing Sundowns and playing Bafana Bafana, playing Chiefs and playing Bafana Bafana is two different things. Also, something that we have to put into our minds. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for today. I think I'm going to close it. Remember, tonight we're going to be watching Sundowns TS Galaxy, 7:30. Join me there. The show is every Monday to Friday, 12:30 in the afternoon. And then also Monday to Wednesday at 8 p.m. unless there's a watch along. So follow. And we can have more of these conversations, because I feel like in South African football, a lot of the time we like having the easy conversations instead of having some of these bigger conversations that we need to be having. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you to the panels. Thank you to the comments. Thank you on TikTok to, let me see who's here, to Kumo, to St. Knox, to Wonga, to Chama. Let me just see. Full name. Chama Khonona. Thank you to you. Thank you to No Focus. Guys, No Focus, FIFA streamer. Follow him and Utogotela. Very good. They play FIFA a lot on their streams. So guys, yeah, thank you so much to everybody. Thank you to people who've joined me on YouTube. Cornelius, Bongile. Thank you to the Facebook crowd. I'll see you guys then again, 7:30. 7:30.